Hi everyone, myself Prakash Reddy, working as Assistant Professor of Physics, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College, Dundigal. In this session, I am going to discuss about Hall effect, very important topic in the semiconductors. That is Hall effect. Coming to the Hall effect, if a piece of semiconductor carrying current I placed in a transverse magnetic field, then an electric field is generated in perpendicular to both current and magnetic field. Hence, production of Hall electric field and generation of Hall voltage by applying the current and magnetic field in perpendicular direction is called as Hall effect. So, see in detail, when a piece of material carrying current, this is a semiconducting material placed in a transverse magnetic field. Carrying current. So, current is in this direction Ix, x-axis. When this piece of material placed in a transverse magnetic field, what will happen? So, due to magnetic force, electrons are moving downward direction. Some force is applied on electrons. Due to magnetic field, electrons are moving downward direction. So, opposite some electric field is generated in perpendicular to both current and magnetic field. In y-axis direction, if we apply magnetic field in the z-axis direction, current is flowing in the x-axis direction. In the y-axis, some electric field is generated. That generated electric field is called as Hall electric field. Voltage developed across the material is called as Hall voltage. Coming to the definition again, if a piece of semiconductor carrying a current I is placed in a transverse magnetic field, then an electric field is generated in perpendicular to both magnetic field and current. Hence, the generation of Hall voltage inside the material is called as Hall voltage. Usually, we are representing with VH is the Hall voltage, EH is the electric field generated inside the material. So, I is a current, B is a magnetic field. See the notations. Remember the notations also. EH is the Hall electric field. E is electric field. Usually, we are representing with H. H represents the Hall. So, here VH is Hall voltage developed across the material. I is the current and B is the electric field, magnetic field applied. So, this is a diagram clearly represents here. In the x-axis direction, current is flowing. In the x direction, current is flowing in the magnetic field applied perpendicular direction in the z-axis. In the y-axis direction, electric field is generated. For that electric field generated, both perpendicular to both current and magnetic field, applied magnetic field. See the derivation. If assume an n-type semiconductor and let I is the current passed along the x-axis and let B is the magnetic field applied along the z-axis. Due to current and due to flow of electrons, the force acting on the electrons in opposite direction to the direction of conventional current. At the same time, due to magnetic field, there is a downward force acting on each electron given by B into E into V. B into E into V. This makes the electrons deviated in downward direction, means along the z-axis. This causes a negative charge to accumulate on the phase 1. This is the phase 1 and this is the phase 2. Due to magnetic field, force acting on an electron, so all electrons are diverted to phase 1. So, some potential difference is creating between the phase 1 and phase 2. When the force is when the magnetic force acting on the electron, and due to that magnetic field, force acting on an electron in the downward direction. At the same time, when it is acting opposite in the opposite direction, electric force is acting on the electrons. So by taking these two forces, considering the two forces, we derive the various equations here. We are finding the Hull voltage and Hull coefficient also. So here see, due to magnetic field B, there is a downward force act on each electron given by B into E into V. This makes the electrons deviated in a downward direction. This causes a negative charge to accumulate on the bottom face. So some potential difference is creating between the phase 1 and phase 2. So here ends FB. B is force due to electric field. Here FB represents force due to magnetic field. Sorry, not electric field. Force due to magnetic field. So clearly representing here force due to magnetic field is FB equals to B into E into V, where E is the charge of the electron and V is the velocity of the electron. A potential difference is formed from the top to bottom of the specimen. The potential differences causes a field EH to flow along the negative y-axis. What will happen? Electric field flow along the negative y-axis. Due to EH along the negative y-axis, a force of E into EH, a force E into small charge of the electron into electric field, Hull electric field, acts in upward direction along the y-axis, positive y-axis. So the force acting on an electron due to electric field is Fe equals to then F suffix E, force acting due to electric field on the charge carriers or on the electrons. F suffix E equals to charge of the electron multiplied with electric field, Hull electric field. So what will happen under equilibrium condition? The two forces acting on a charge carriers are equal. Or upward force due to EH equals to downward force due to magnetic field. Upward force due to electric field, Hull electric field, equal to downward force due to magnetic field. By equating the two, we are getting one equation here. By equating the two forces acting on the electrons or acting on a charge carriers inside the specimen, we are getting equation here. So here, what is the equation for FB? FB equal to B into E into V, force due to magnetic field, and force due to electric field equals to E into EH. At equilibrium, we are equating these two equations. At equilibrium condition, the two forces acting on a charge carriers are equal. So therefore, B into E into V equals to E into EH. By cancelling E and E, so EH equals to B into V, and velocity V equals to EH by B. This is called as equation 1 or equation 3, whatever it is. So take the current density now. If J is the current density, J equals to number of electrons and charge of each electron and velocity. So J equals to N into E into V, where V equals to J by N into E. And come both the equations, this is equation 1 and equation 2. In the slide, equation 1 and equation 2, both are equations for velocity only. So compare the two equations now. By comparing the two equations, we are getting equation for Hull coefficient here. So compare the two equations. EH by B equal to current density J by N into E. From that, electric field EH equals to Hull electric field EH equals to B into J by N into E. I am writing this equation 1 by N into E into B into J. So I have taken one more constant instead of 1 by N into E. I am taken one more constant is called as Hull coefficient. Hull coefficient RH into B into J. Where RH is called as Hull coefficient. Hull coefficient. Then from the equation we can derive RH equals to 1 by N into E. What is RH? Hull coefficient. It is defined as RH equals to 1 by N into E. This Hull coefficient is positive for P-type semiconducting material and negative for N-type semiconducting material. So based on the Hull coefficient, by getting the Hull coefficient is negative, we can say the specimen we are using in the Hull effect is N-type semiconducting material. By getting the positive Hull coefficient, we can say the specimen used in the Hull effect is P-type semiconducting material. It is used to identify the type of semiconductor used in a Hull effect. By getting the RH is negative. RH is negative. What is RH? RH is Hull coefficient. Hull coefficient is negative for N-type material and RH is positive for P-type semiconducting material. So if you are getting Hull coefficient is negative, we can say that the type of material, the type of specimen is N-type, and RH is positive, the type of specimen is P-type material. So this is one of the equation for from the derivation RH equals to, what is the equation? RH equals to EH by BJ. There is a relation between RH and EH. Hull coefficient and electric field and current density, magnetic field also. See, so EH equal, comparing the equation 1 and 2, EH equals to EH by B equals to J by N into E. EH equals to JB into N into E. Here EH equals to RH into B into J. Okay, now here we clearly representing here RH is negative, minus 1 by N into E for electrons. So RH is positive for holes. By getting these positive and negative, we can identify the type of material used in a Hall effect. So RH equals to EH by B into J, one of the important relation here between the Hall coefficient, electric field, magnetic field and current density. So here N is the electron density, small n is the electron density, and P is the hole density, EH is the Hall electric field, RH is Hall coefficient, and B is the magnetic field, and J is the current density. And this is the relation between all the quantities here, RH, EH, B and J. Coming to the Hull voltage, equation for Hull voltage developed across the material. So by considering the equation 5, what is the equation 5? RH equals to EH into B into J. So considering equation 5, take the VH. If VH is the Hull voltage across the material, if VH is the Hull voltage developed across the material, the thickness of the material I am taking as T. Thickness of the material I am taken as small t. Usually, what is the equation between the voltage and electric field and thickness are D? So, what is the relation here? V equals to E into D. But here V we are taken as VH, Hull voltage, and E we are taken as Hull voltage, Hull electric field, and thickness I am taken as small t. So what happened? EH equals to here, from this relation EH equals to VH by T. One equation named as equation number 6. Now take the area. If B is the width of the sample and A is the area and T is the thickness, then what is the relation between these three? Area equals to breadth into thickness. So here A equals to B into T. I am taken width of the sample is B and thickness as T. So what is the area? Area equals to B into, so we know again the current density in terms of area, J equals to I by A. The current density J equals to I by A. So substitute A equals to J equals to I by B into T, width into thickness. So equation, this is named as equation 7. Substitute equation 6 and 7 in equation 5. What is the equation 5? Equation for RH. RH equals to EH by BG. We are finding the separate equations for EH and J also. Now substitute equation 6 is equation for EH and equation 7 is equation for J. Substitute these two in this equation. So RH equals to, we are getting RH equals to VH by T. EH equals to VH by T and J equals to capital I by B into T. So by substituting that, we are getting Hull coefficient equation. RH equals to VH into B into small b into capital B into I. Here B is the breadth of the sample and B is the magnetic field. I is the current due to flow of electron. V is the Hull voltage developed across the material. So from that relation, we are writing equation for VH is VH equals to RH into magnetic field B into I by small b, breadth of the semiconducting material. This is one of the important relation here. Hull voltage developed across the material. So Hull electric field, and we are finding the equation for electric field in terms of RH and magnetic field, and we are finding the Hull coefficient, Hull voltage developed across the material also. VH equals to RH into B into I by B. And this is about totally Hall effect. Coming to the applications of Hall effect. What are the applications? For determination of type of given semiconductor. As we discussed about the Hall effect. So by getting the Hull coefficient is positive. The type of material is P-type material. We are using P-type material in the Hall effect. By getting Hull coefficient is negative, the type of material will be N-type material. The type of material is N-type material. That's why first application of Hall effect is to determine the type of semiconductor. So for N-type, Hull coefficient is negative. For P-type, Hull coefficient is positive. So to determine the carrier, when we know the Hull coefficient, we can find out the carrier concentration very easily, because we know the relation RH equals to 1 by N into E. N is the number of electrons or carrier concentration. So when we know the Hull coefficient, we can easily find out the charge carrier concentration or carrier concentration in both N and P. So N equals to or P equals to 1 by RH into E. Using this relation, we can find out the carrier concentration. Third one is determine the mobility of the charge carriers. One more application is determination of mobility of charge carriers. That's for that we are using this relation, very simple relation only. So electrical conductivity rho in terms of mobility, so N into E into mu. So here mu equals to mobility, mu equals to 1 by N into E into electrical conductivity. So here 1 by N into E nothing but RH into electrical conductivity. When we know the RH and electrical conductivity, we can find out the mobility of the charge carriers very easily. So by substituting RH equals to VH into B into B into I also, when we know the Hull voltage and breadth of the sample and applied magnetic field and flow of charge, using this relation we can find out the mobility of the charge carriers. And that is the third application of Hall effect. And coming to the fourth, measurement of magnetic flux density B and Hull voltage. When we know the VH, what is VH? Hull voltage. Or when we know the magnet, when we know the Hall coefficient RH, we can, using that relation, we can find out the magnetic flux density also. So fifth application and final application, determine the sign of the charge carriers, whether the conductivity due to electrons or holes. To determine the sign of charge carriers, whether the conductivity is due to electrons or holes. If the conductivity is due to electrons, we are getting the negative sign. Or if the conductivity is positive, if the Hall coefficient is positive, the charge carriers will be the charge density due to holes only. And these are the various applications in Hall effect. So coming to the Hall effect again. What is Hall effect? When a piece of material or specimen carrying current I placed in a transverse magnetic field, what will happen? Electric field is generated in perpendicular to both magnetic field and current. The developed electric field we are calling as Hall electric field, and due to that electric field, some potential difference is creating between the phase 1 and phase 2. So voltage developed across the material. The developed voltage across the material we are calling as Hall voltage. This total effect we call as Hall effect. Again, see the definition. When a piece of material carrying current, or that is metal or semiconductor, whatever it is, piece of material placed in a transverse magnetic field which is carrying current I, electric field is generated perpendicular to both current I and magnetic field. So generated voltage due to developing that electric field, what will happen? Some phase difference creating voltage difference creating between the potential difference, not potential difference is creating between the phase 1 and phase 2. Due to creating the potential difference, some potential is developed across the material or voltage developed across the material. The developed voltage we are calling as Hall voltage. And this is the total practical evidence. And this is a semiconducting material. In the x-axis, current is flowing here. In the y-axis, electric field is generated, force of electric field. And in the z-axis, we are applying the magnetic field. And this is a total derivation. When the magnetic field acting on a electrons, in the opposite direction, some electric field also acting. So here upward force due to electric field and downwards force due to magnetic field. Under equilibrium condition, by equating these two, we are going to find out the equations for Hall voltage or Hall electric field. And this is the EH equals to RH into B into J is the electric field, Hall electric field. So to find out the Hall voltage, we are taking the thickness of the sample and the area of the sample also. Using that, we are finding the equation for VH equals to RH into B into I by B. And this is total about the Hall effect. See the applications. 5 applications are there here. First one is determine the type of semiconductor. By getting the Hall coefficient is negative, we can say the type of material is N-type material. By getting the Hall coefficient is positive, we can say the type of material is P-type material. Right? Second one is when we know the Hall coefficient. When we know the Hall coefficient, using this relation, we can find out the number of charge carriers. So to determine the carrier concentration, we are using Hall effect. And third one is determination of mobility of charge carriers. When we know the RH and conductivity, using this relation, we can find out the mobility of the charge carriers. And for measurement of magnetic flux density and Hall voltage also. VH and B also we can measure. And determine the sign of the charge carriers, whether the conductivity is due to electrons and holes. And this is totally about the Hall effect. I hope you understand, and thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.